All right. Well, I will bring up the tubes of you.
Yes, please. I am going to eat some chocolate. That was that was chocolate worthy, that mission.
Hmm. Hey, have you ever been interested in learning how to do digital line art or coloring?
Maybe.
Well, the reason why I asked is because last night I couldn't go to sleep, and so went to the Tubes of You,
Uh-huh.
and there is a character designer. I don't remember his name off the top, like his actual name off the top of my head, but he's worked with, I guess, animation studios and maybe even gaming studios. And he started
Hmm.
his own independent studio called Lost Bear Studios.
Okay.
And he has, it was just like basically a tutorial where he tossed some line up on Gumroad or some line art up on Gunroad and then walked you through the steps that he takes to um, do the line art, give you a basic tutorial about how he does the flat colors, and then he goes through and shades, and he was giving tips and tricks on using. Oh crap! What is that one? It's
I
not
don't know.
Canvas. It's not Canvas.
Is it Sketchbook?
No, it's not Sketchbook either. I can see it in my head, but I don't remember the name of it.
Is it
But
Photoshop?
anyway, no, it's not Photoshop. It's the Photoshop alternative. Although he says he usually the artist says that he usually does go into Photoshop to do the shading,
Hmm.
but he did everything in the one application whose name is escaping me right now.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, it was really nice.
cool.
If I had to do a concrete there, and it's only on my mind because we're about to podcast, so I'm a little more critical than usual. I would say he needed to speak into his mic a little bit more because he was kind of soft.
Oh.
But it was really informative. And I was like, oh, I think I'm just going to download one of these and try it. And I
That's
think I am.
cool. Nice. Let me know how it goes. And send me the
Yeah,
link to one of those things. I'll check it out.
I will. Internet. A long, long time ago, like a long, long time ago, um, you know how there was a ton of people who would do, if you were downloading your manga from
Hmm.
different scanlation sites, which you totally shouldn't be doing, have done, and I never did.
Uh-huh.
And that there would be people who would color the like intro pages.
Hmm. Yeah.
I've done that a time or two,
Oh, really?
and but it was a long time ago. Like with a not at all cracked code of Photoshop,
A completely above the board, legit.
completely legitimate. They were no. I know what is a torrent, but something you find in a river. Um, yeah. So every once in a while, I'm like, man, you should get back into that. And then I'm like, oh, there's so many other things you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't even know what I'm doing in Minecraft right now.
Living free.
I'm able to walk around with a whole bunch of space without exploding bugs running at me.
I feel like Minecraft is a little bit more peaceful, just a little bit.
It is, especially how I have it right now, where it's always day. Don't need to worry about sleeping. It's always light, so monsters don't spawn
Hmm.
in most places. It's nice and quiet. There aren't any dwarves screaming.
For now.
So do you like Deep Rock Galactic? Is it something that you're
Yeah,
going to be playing?
yeah, but I thought that I would is the thing
Yeah.
because there is more to balance out the exploration.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you recall that one game that I downloaded that was like Wind Waker Light,
Kind
where
of.
it's kind of like a farming sim and it felt French for whatever reason. Um, like a French gaming studio, I mean. And I thought that game was absolutely gorgeous. But the exploration was fun. It was the first time I ever did a farming simulator, and I was enjoying that. But in that downtime between all that stuff, bored to tears.
Oh man.
I need some kind of combat. I think that's what it comes down to. I need some kind of fun combat. And I don't think what you get in Minecraft, well, I know what you get in Minecraft isn't for me.
I got you. We were kind of worried before you jumped in and played with us that it was going to be a little too much like Minecraft.
Scorch, I'm the one who suggested it to you.
I know, but I worry
Why do you
sometimes.
think, I know, but why do you think I suggested it?
Probably because you thought it was fun and you thought
Yeah,
we would have fun playing it.
yes.
And you weren't wrong.
I thought it would be more I figured that you guys would enjoy it and I would be able to play it with you without complaining.
That makes it sound like you think that we would enjoy it more than you.
No, no, no. I'm trying to say that I thought we would enjoy it together.
Got you. It is fun
Hmm.
when it's not absolutely friggin' ridiculous the way the last mission was.
Yeah, that was. I mean, and I think that if once I get a little bit more levels on me and stuff,
Hmm.
like it would still be hard, but I don't think it would have been that ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, Arcadius needs to get here because we got to start this
Yeah,
podcast.
that's why I said just watch the first 2 or 3 minutes. But that Outrider one, I'm pretty sure, what tickled the fancy. They, yeah,
Ugh.
I thought I'd be more. I'm already comparing, but let me save this for the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. You want real, candid remarks in the podcast
Hmm.
and rebuttals. If I've heard it before, it's not going to be as genuine.
Hmm. You said, but
I did. Can I say that I am very happy that we now have a day to play D&D?
well, I figured that we just all needed to get together, say hello to one another, and then pick a date.
Yeah. And I'm glad that y'all seem to like mesh well, because sometimes it's a little scary mixing friend groups.
Oh, are you kidding me? I hardly ever do it. I actually have a friend group phobia. So yeah, no, I'm 100% there with you.
Whew. All right, Arcadius, where you at? It's time. Oh, D&D, it's gonna be so much fun.
I can't wait to hear everybody else's backstories. I kind of know Monsoon's um,
Yeah.
from, well, I mean, well, from what she said today, but from just talking to her in general. I know mine, and I think it's kind of cool that we're going to have, 4 somewhat near do wells and then a cleric.
Yeah. You back?
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
So I just looked at some of the Xbox website stuff, and I have some concerns about its architecture.
Well, we are currently streaming right
All
now.
right. Well,
Also, you're
shall
just a
we?
tad bit faint, so move that microphone just a little bit closer.
Better?
Yes, better.
Okay. Wow, that's really touchy then.
Yeah. Are we good
Well,
to
that's
go?
okay. Dude, I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's launch.
Uh,
Oop.
uh,
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
all right. Do we sound good, Vast?
We sound excellent. Let's go, let's go, let's
All
go.
right. Ubisoft Forward was yesterday. Was it yesterday?
No, day before.
Day before. And we also have a couple other things in the pipeline. We're now looking forward to a PlayStation event on Wednesday. There's going to be a Night City Wire on Monday. Xbox had the prices leaked and the Series S leak, so they decided to make the price points official. And we're going to be covering all of that along with our reaction to Ubisoft Forward here in this podcast. I'm Scorch. Arcadia Zero is here with a new microphone.
Ah,
Whoop, whoop.
yeah.
And Vast Empires is here also with a new microphone, but for PC, we'll be doing that later eventually. And where do you guys want to begin?
Let's start with the Xbox stuff. I know we
Okay,
got a couple of the game things to talk about. Let's do the Xbox stuff.
get that out
Yeah,
of the
because that's some
way.
pretty big news. Finally.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit glad that Xbox didn't try to, skirt around the issue once the leak happened and they're like, "Yep, okay, it's in the open. Let's just do this." And so they didn't like do weird question dodging and like try to keep up the farce, if you will, by like not saying what's been leaked. So I'm actually kind of glad that they just did that.
yeah.
So
Um,
what's been linked again?
So
the
they leaked the price point of both Xbox Series X and Series S, and uh, the actual console of the Series S, which was just rumored and essentially confirmed but not confirmed within the community. So they said that the Xbox Series S is at $299 and seems to be a digital version with a little cut down stats. And
a little,
the
not a lot.
the Series X is at $499, and we pretty much know everything about that now. So those are the
Hmm.
two things that got leaked, and then Xbox decided to say, "Okay, yeah, you got us. Here's what it actually is. Have fun."
Hmm.
And here we are.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't skirt the issue and they just accepted it. Like, yep, it's been
Yeah.
leaked. Here it is.
I think they were sitting on that for so long. I think that they were just waiting for PlayStation to make the first move, and with the leak, they were like, "All right, fine."
Yeah, they gave up waiting basically. It's like we're tired of waiting. We're just gonna
Yeah,
do this.
which I think
Well,
was part of the reason why PlayStation is taking so goddamn long.
Probably. They're playing
yeah.
the cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
Yeah, which leads to so many questions. But when you popped in, Arcadis, you mentioned that you had some concerns. Was it about the Xbox S, One S,
No,
One
I think it's
X,
the X.
SX?
I don't think the S is going to have the kind of expandable memory because the whole point of it being a lower price point is that it is what it is in a small package. But the Xbox X, being their Cadillac, does have expandable memory. But what I was looking at is that it's not just any run of the mill, go to the store, get your spec solid state hard drive. It looks to be a proprietary form factor plug-in hard drive. And
Mm.
that to me is crappy because that means they will set an unreasonable price for technology that probably shouldn't cost as much as they're going to charge for it. And even if you wanted to buy your own, the plug-in style does not look like a common pin connector set, which means you can't just get some cabling and, slap together a expansion of your making in a lower budget. You will be locked into their infrastructure and the budget they decide for you. Second thing that concerned me about the architecture is its cooling. They talked about how it has this wonderful surround cooling. And I just thought to myself, for people who practically put this thing inside TV centers, one, sometimes they have the glass doors which completely encases them. If this thing runs as hot as I think it's probably going to run with the size of the heatsink that occupies like 30% of the volume of
Oof.
this unit, I think they're going to have heating problems. And with the draw of the fan being in a 360 shape around the body of the unit, the problem is that if you set this thing up against a back wall or the back of a shelving unit, you just cut 25% of the airflow out because it's an updraft style flow and not a cross draft style flow like most of the previous generations have been. So I think their efforts to be cool and do something new could potentially have a detrimental effect when put in the practical field of use. That's my concern.
So you're talking about that the form factor of the
The
smallest.
whole console. Well,
Yeah,
no,
the whole console.
yes, the whole console.
Okay, and this is the X, right? The big
Yes, the
black
black
box
one.
with the
Yep.
You're talking about the circle vent on top. Is that
The
what you're
fridge?
talking
Well,
about?
okay, so if you look at their diagrams, the air draw is on the bottom. And the reason they're able to accomplish this is they're going to have some little disc that spaces the whole thing off of whatever surface it's sitting on by probably about an eighth of an inch to a quarter of an inch. And that's to create a gap to allow air to upflow from the bottom of the unit through the top. So the fan is a sucker fan, and it's drawing air through the whole console.
Oh, okay, all right.
If you set this up against a wall or a shelf, you just cut 25% of the airflow capacity on one side because their diagrams show it drawing air on all four sides.
I see
That's
what you
not
mean.
practical. If someone sets this thing up inside a little an encased TV center with the glass doors or something like that, there's not going to be enough space, or there's the potential for there not to be enough space because it's not positioned just right to maximize the airflow in the unit. And there could potentially be heating problems, especially judging by how big the heatsink is in their photos.
Oh, like I'm looking at it right now, and I see what you mean.
Yep.
First of all,
trying to
thank
use
you for
those.
explaining that so clearly because I literally understood what you were saying.
Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, well, ignore all the jargon and thermo talk, but yes, to me there looks like there could potentially, maybe not immediately, but as time goes on, you might see not many, but a few disgruntled people talk about how hot this thing gets. And more than likely, I bet it's because they're going to have it crammed up against a wall, or one or two of the sides will be blocked, and they're not going to realize the unit's not getting the appropriate flow that they've designed it for. Because that thing inside is going to be chooching, and it's going to get hot.
That's a really weird phrase to use, but okay.
I can't take that. It's not mine. But I think that is going to be one of the problems, because when you think about all the previous Xboxes, all the previous PlayStations, they pretty much utilize a crossflow through the entire length of their consoles. And now Xbox is like, nah, we're going to totally change it up. We're only going to suck right through the bottom where all the dust settles and all the junk sits.
Oh, yeah.
And all of the possibilities of cordoning off your only valuable space for cooling.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Can we backtrack just really quick about the storage option, the
Yes.
expandable storage option,
The
because when
SSD.
I looked at the yes, it's a I guess a partnership with Seagate. They have like a 1 terabyte storage expansion that you can just slot in the back of your not PC.
Yes.
Um,
It is convenient. I'm going to give them that. It looks super convenient and easy to deploy.
so when I saw that though, I just kind of laughed a little bit because it just reminded me of the beginning of um, the beginning of the console generation, where we moved away from just Atari and Nintendo, and we moved from
With
Nintendo to
little
PlayStation.
plug-in save cards.
Yes, and I was like, we're just back at save cards. We're just
Yeah.
back at massive save cards because
Only
that's what
now
we
we're
need.
calling them hard drives. Premium
Mhm.
hard drives.
Premium hard drives. And seeing this, I sat there and thought to myself, is this something similar to what Sony is going to do with their digital drive?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
We will find out Wednesday, but
Yeah, we'll find
I
out.
don't
Yeah.
know. All I can say is that based on looking at the images they provided, those look like custom form factors. Ease of use. I definitely understand them saying, hey, just take this little card and plug it into this opening in the back, and you're done. And, kudos to, employ easy to use ergonomics and,
Hmm.
ease of use and keeping the user in mind. But,
Yeah.
for the PC inclined individuals, are going to look at that and be like, what the hell, Xbox?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But the way that they've built their marketing and all of that, if you have a PC and you're playing PC, there's no real reason for you to get an Xbox
This is a
because
true statement.
everything that you can play on an Xbox, you can also play on PC. They've made that a major point in their recent workings is that if you have a PC, you can play whatever because it's Microsoft.
True. And while I don't disagree with you, there are still PC gamers who buy consoles
It's
to
true.
play in certain form factors because they just prefer either certain games or multiplayer audiences on a console versus the PC.
Very true.
Hmm.
And I think this is the market segment that will be quite dissatisfied because this is the market segment that knows how to expand their space, that knows what the hell they're talking about. And Xbox is basically going to tell them, no, you have to use this really expensive special widget to expand your space. And they're going to be like, but I don't want to. So,
It seems to me just ever so slightly, and this might sting some ears, that the way that they're working this Xbox is the same way that Apple works their iPhones.
oh, absolutely.
And
Oh, absolutely. Cordon off the market, allow you to be the only conduit that anything can happen through, to where all financial transactions are maximized for monetary gain
yep,
through you.
yep.
That's
Dan,
just how business works.
Danny says this is why I'm never going to buy an Xbox. I don't blame you, Danny. Don't blame me one bit. I don't think we are
Yeah.
either.
Well, the thing of it is though, like, I mean, until it is proven to be um, unprofitable, like everyone is pulling towards the subscription model.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Um,
terrible as
everyone.
it is, it's happening.
Hmm.
And oh, did you want to talk about that angle with Xbox?
Yeah.
With the subscription model and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay. So, as a little primer, Xbox said that you will be able to purchase the Xbox and finish paying for it through a payment plan that is linked to your Xbox subscription, kind of. And people took a look at that and scratched their heads and thought, yeah, that's really cool, but that seems an awful like a phone payment plan. And they're not
Here's
that far off. I think, and various other people, and also I think Vast is going to agree with me, that that is kind of their plan for uh, how they're going to be expanding in the future. They're going to be offering payment plans in order to move units because they find that paying for a console outright for the people that buy their consoles is too high.
Yeah. And I do agree with that. I do want to add, though, that this is not something that's completely new. It's just the marketing surrounded by it is more prominent because I'm like 99% sure that in the past you have been able to purchase an Xbox or a PlayStation through like Dell or something like that over a period of time.
Yeah,
Like I'm sure before this console generation, you were able to do that with your Xbox One and your PlayStation 4. Um, and the other thing is that Microsoft has experience with this because that's how you purchase their computer. Like that's not the only way you purchase their computers, but like they have. I almost called it a leasing option, but they have installment payment plans for those things on their website.
yeah,
technically they do. Office 360 is one of their models for that.
that's true.
Yeah, and oh
And
man, Office 365. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
GameStop is offering installment plans for both sets of consoles anyway.
Are they still in business?
Yeah, as a matter of
Oh.
fact, they just recently released the quarterly earnings, and they have, for this quarter, lost $111 million in sales,
Mm,
and are struggling to find relevance still.
Mm.
you don't say.
Digital, guys, it's the way of the future.
I
Or
mean, it's what's happened with everything.
yeah,
So far, and by everything, I mean like with your movies and your music. You know, your video games were coming.
yeah,
Um, I thought. I mean, this is another conversation, but I would have thought that they would have positioned themselves better.
There are a couple
Because
YouTube videos we could point to that would show the inner workings of GameStop do not care about that. They are
uh,
content to try and leave things the same way they've always been and just sit there and make money, and adapting takes effort, and they don't want to do that. And that's part of the
mm,
reason they're struggling.
I
mm,
think the world is in trouble because of that right now. But that's not what our podcast is
If we're
about.
sticking to just Vigima games, that's the reason.
yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's really interesting, and it goes back to what Microsoft was saying towards the beginning of the even towards last year, where they were saying that Sony isn't really their competitor in the console war. And everyone was like, oh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I think it's because of this subscription service model that they have it right, where Nintendo and um, PlayStation are lagging in terms of adoption of their streaming services. Like I think um, Nintendo's streaming platform is pretty much non-existent. I don't know. I haven't turned on my Switch in a hot minute, so please correct me if I'm wrong there. Um, and then I don't know the PlayStation Now adoption rates. I tried it for free for a month, and I was just like, why isn't this part of my PlayStation Plus subscription?
Yeah, I
And they
agree with you
might.
there.
They might, if they see a little bit of loss in sales, they might just go, "Oh, now they're bundled."
Well, it should already be bundled. They should be telling us this now. Is my point.
Yeah,
Well, I've always, so in the back of my mind, the PlayStation overlords have always been a touch, just a touch on the greedy side. And they've always trying to
yeah,
see where they can squeeze that extra dollar, where they can put. I think they push the line of asset and customer payments farther than just about any other console, but that's just my opinion.
yeah.
And I think that will end up biting them. They will have to backtrack and go, okay, guys, if we're going to keep this up, we have to start flexing to be about the same way as our competitors in order to keep that relevancy and keep the prices and the expectations in line with everyone else.
I think I agree. I don't really have much to add here. I'm just saying yes, yes.
So while we're sitting here talking about PlayStation in relation to Microsoft's plan and or current plan, and before we get information this upcoming Wednesday, what do you think about Xbox's actual pricing strategy? Is it in line with what we were thinking? Do they have PlayStation over a barrel in terms of price? And yeah, those are my two questions.
I do think the physical hardware of the PlayStation is going to come out being a little more expensive,
Yeah, probably.
but you couldn't say that they have them over their barrel because we don't actually have the price in front of us, so we don't actually know what to compare it to say whether it is or isn't. But even if PlayStation is a little more expensive, it's not going to be by much. It'll be just enough margin to recoup a little bit of the extra additional hardware expense. Because if they go too far out, they're not going to be able to justify it to the consumer base.
I actually think that they're going to be releasing the PlayStation 5 price at $499, and they're
You think
keeping
so?
that. They're going to be keeping it right there the whole time.
So they have the number they wanted to do it at, and then they've got the number that they know they'll have to match it to.
Yeah.
Possible.
And
So which one? So you think that the disk drive is going to be $499 or
no,
both?
I think
the
both.
all digital. Really? No.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
say the
absolutely.
I think the digital one will come in right at about the $499, and the disc one will be like $40 more.
It might be that way. I mean, if they have two consoles that they're going to release simultaneously, essentially, they are going to have to keep those prices within $100, if not 50, of each other. If it's not going to be the same, I am hesitant to think that they would release them at not the same price points. I think it would just be easier across the board to say, hey, you want a PlayStation 5? It's $499.
I think to us it might be easier, but seeing as how much they see and understand how much market share they command of the console world right now, I think that's going to jade their decision making.
It might. I mean, I'm a consumer. I'm talking out my ass right now. I have no idea about
I
about
mean,
the
we're
industry.
already like PlayStation, take my money. I
Yeah,
mean,
really.
that's already the gig. However, I still think they're going to, now that they see where the threshold is at, they know they don't have to go any lower than that. So I think they might try to squeeze out a little bit more for one of their two consoles, and then the other one will match what the Xbox One is probably, or close to it, if not exact.
So, do you guys think that the price point that they are going to be putting at each console is relative to the software sales that they saw in the previous generation?
I think there's some
Like,
association to it.
like we saw like hand over fist more digital downloads of any of our PlayStation games than ever before. We are going to be making the digital version of this a little bit more expensive because we know more people have gone digital.
That's possible. It could flip flop what I just said previously. The disk drive one might be cheaper, and the all digital one might be a little more expensive.
Yeah. I mean, on a
I have
hardware basis,
No,
though.
I take that back. The disc reader alone is going to be significantly more expensive because it's going to be Blu-ray capable too.
Yeah.
It'd be stupid if it wasn't. So I mean, Blu-rays are pretty cheap nowadays, but it's still not free.
Yeah. And Blu-ray is Sony property too, so like
Yeah,
it's not going to
it's
be
going to be there.
super expensive.
Well, I have been telling Sony what I've been wanting them to do for weeks now, and the only thing I haven't done was like tweeted it to them directly because I don't want the ability to plug in a additional hard drive save card vis-a-vis Xbox One X 365. I want them to just give me the freaking option to choose how much space I want. and just let me pay them an additional $50 or $75 or $100 to put in 3 terabytes. That's it. Because people will
Vast,
do that.
they are waiting for 6 months before they release an updated hard drive PlayStation. Like that is
But
in the pipeline. They already have the schematics. They already have the prototypes.
but
They're
that's
just
just so
waiting for 6 months so that
that's
sales like even out, and then they're gonna
that's
say,
just
"Hey,
dumb.
we've got a new PlayStation for you that has a 2 terabyte drive, and it's only $100 more. Also, by the way, the original PlayStation 5 is going to be knocked down $100."
That is just dumb. Because
I
you can
It's
get
how
all
they make the money.
I agree
no,
with you,
because you
Bass. I
can get
totally agree with
no,
you.
stop. Because you can get all of the money at the front end instead of the back end and discounting the price. And because we're already primed for that now as consumers, we're used to that. And I'm not saying it's a good thing. Like, trust me, I'm not saying that what I want them to do is the most positive thing for me and my wallet. But I'm just saying that as people who go out there and purchase laptops and purchase cell phones, we're used to choosing to pay more for more drive space.
Yeah,
So why aren't they doing that? I
Sticker
mean, and
shock.
what
yeah.
sticker shock? We're used to it.
I mean, Vass just said a couple of weeks ago, I bought a $1,200 phone. This thing is going to be what, $500 max?
Yeah. Like what? I mean,
Mm,
honestly, that's nothing.
For
That's
people that
nothing.
outright buy phones, yes.
For people who put it on their bill for what, 2 years
Yeah, it's true.
and pay like $25 a month. Look, and this is just like a comparison thing. $500 is a lot of money.
It,
Okay, that is a
it
lot
really
of money.
is. For
But
the
compared
average consumer, yes.
for the average consumer, it is a lot of money. But it is less than the price of your cell phone.
Yeah.
I still find that cringeworthy. I still hate how much they cost.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And look,
absolutely.
I mean that's just the truth of it. And so I get part of it is the sticker shock of it all. But and of course I'm not in the boardroom. But I'm sitting here saying, Sony, go ahead and put that thing out at $550 and $600 like you know you want to do, and just let it go because the market isn't going to shift that much. They're not going to get how many PlayStation 4s did they sell?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. Like all of those people aren't going to just switch over to Xbox because they can get a new console for $399 with like lesser stats, you know?
That's true.
Mm.
But
What's
I
in
w-
what's Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just saying like in that kind of households, um like you might get your kids the $299 version and you are going to get the Xbox Series X for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's if you have kids though. Fuck
That's
them.
what you had kids. But that's what I'm saying like that's they're that console itself to me, and I could be totally wrong in how I see this, is more in competition with Nintendo than it is with
You
um
mean
I could believe that.
okay.
and then PlayStation in terms of specs and price
Yeah.
as an alternative system.
Uh,
Or this is your toe into the new generation. This is your
Toes.
window into the new. Oh, this is your window into the new generation of console. See, because
And
Microsoft
then
Windows. See what I
Microsoft is
did
gonna
there?
go, "Excuse me." Vast, I'd like to take you back to 2006.
mm.
Long time
Mm,
ago, 14 years ago, when
3 years ago.
when the PlayStation 3 released and they said, "This is our next generation console. It's very powerful and has a Blu-ray drive in it. It's $699," and nobody bought it. That is the reason why they are not going to be releasing a console at that price point, even if it has that uh like hard drive space that you want. because that price deterred so many people at that lifetime that they are still reeling from that decision that they did.
And we've all been hurt before. We've all we, we've all said things and gave our all to somebody and they just didn't appreciate it.
Yep,
Um,
it hurts.
it hurts. It really does. I would also go out on a limb and say that part of that is because it looked like the George Foreman grill.
It did kind of, didn't it?
Look, that PlayStation grill to this day.
Yeah.
But seriously, and I'm not saying that much. What was it, $6.99 or $5.99?
It was $6.99. I remember it was a really big friggin' deal. I got it for Christmas and went ballistic.
Mm. Yeah, no, $5.99, and then wait, yeah, $5.99 and $4.99 is where I think that they should go. They're not going to do that. They're probably going to split the difference. It's probably going to be $4.50 and $4.50 and $500, or $500 and $5.50. But
Danny says she thinks it's more like a competition with Nintendo because of the exclusives.
Probably. I mean, you ain't gonna find Mario on PlayStation, that's for sure.
Nope. Or PC.
Or PC.
Nintendo, man, their first party is solid.
Well, yeah, they control, in my opinion, one of the greatest game monopoly IPs that there is in gaming.
Yeah, it's true.
and consistently good games,
Yeah. I
They
mean,
have
or
to
at
be
least,
or they'll die.
or at least quality control. At least,
the
like the
first
quality control that they have in Nintendo is to be marveled, and I still don't understand why it's not replicated as often.
Yeah.
Because right now it would take too steep of a hit in order to implement. No one wants to take that hit.
Well, look at
Oh,
the
man.
Anthem.
Well,
Look at all the
that's the
money.
kind of hit that makes you grovel on the ground and never recover.
Well,
Well,
BioWare's trying, all right? You got to give
and
them a little bit of
and
credit.
we're and we're hoping that they do. I'm just saying, in the long run, how much money has Anthem lost because they did not provide the kind of like Q&A quality gameplay that was expected by their player base, and then that we expect as gamers just in general.
Oh, they lost a lot. Not
They
denying
did.
that. Not
They lost a
denying that
lot.
one bit.
And so,
That
I'm
that
sorry.
that might have a lot to do with like EA needing a deadline on something and telling them, listen, you can't push this back anymore. It's got to come out
Yeah,
right now for our like whatever quarter it came out in earnings. Like it has to be
yeah,
out.
second quarter earnings,
Hmm.
and it made the money that they needed for that earnings. But like, I'm talking about long term.
Yeah. And that's the way everything is going now. Like that's why things are being built as a games as a service. You want to keep people in that ecosystem so that you keep the money output flowing. But
But if you want to do that, you have to give us a product that's worth paying for.
yeah, exactly.
And we just dovetailed here.
We absolutely did. Do we want to like move on to the other things on our list, or do we want to keep arguing about this?
Uh,
I think we drove this into the ground.
Yeah, we
Slow
did.
enough.
All right, Ubisoft had a Ubisoft Forward 2 days ago, and they showed off some Phoenix Rising, which used to be Gods and Monsters, I believe was the name.
that is correct.
We also saw a new-ish IP. I wouldn't call it a totally new IP. It's in their genre, their wheelhouse. That is Riders Republic, which is like a MMO, BMX, extreme sports kind of thing, in the vein of like The Crew 2 and Steep. And we saw some things for Rainbow Six, but we're not competitive or in that way, and we don't like Rainbow Six all that much.
Too stressful.
We saw some, what do you call it, Watch Dogs Legion stuff that we could talk about a little bit. A few other things. Where do y'all want to begin on this one? Do we want to go with Phoenix
Nope.
Rising? Because I know we have.
We
opinion.
have a lot. We have a lot of opinions there. So let's start with Immortals: Phoenix Rising, or as I
Yes.
like to call it,
Zelda Greek edition.
yeah.
And why would you say that? Explain to our lovely audience of
So I have
Danny.
never played Breath of the Wild, but I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, if you had not told me it was a different game and told me instead, hey, there's a new DLC skin for Breath of the Wild, I'd have looked at it and go, oh, yeah, you're right. Like, would not have thought anything otherwise. They have these, God, it's so uncanny, the similarities to just watch that gameplay, go watch Zelda Breath of the Wild, and tell me definitively they do not look or act the same. I challenge you, absolutely
Yeah.
challenge you, because they look the same, they play the same to a degree based on the side by side comparison, and just how they've built the world, how your character operates, and how everything looks, and how everything mechanically plays with one another. It
The
just looks
magnet.
like they didn't even try to hide the magnet power. They straight up said, "Oh, well, instead of him holding up a giant magnet, we'll just have him hold up his fists like a magnet would be sitting in, but we're going to take the magnet away, and then we're going to make the little magnety things come out of his fists instead of a magnet." Like, just to me, the
Same
blatant
color.
level of copying.
It's the
Yeah,
Same
same
color
color, yeah.
power.
just another point of why they didn't even try. They're just like, whatever. We'll just do it anyways.
Yeah.
Did not
So
even try to differentiate it.
I've seen a lot of games recently that's been coming out of like China and Japan that are being called like like Breath of the Wild clones,
Mhm.
because that game made such a huge impact and it's absolutely beautiful. And I've seen some and I was like, okay, I kind of see it, but I don't really. Or that's not quite a clone, but I can see why you might think that. When I saw Immortals: Phoenix Rising, the gameplay, I was like, holy crap, this is actually a Zelda clone. And it's not just like Arcadis is saying, they took some of the powers just straight out of there, but a lot of it has to do with not necessarily the look and feel of the open world, because the look of the open world does feel distinctly Greco-Roman, but like the softer colors and like the animation style is vaguely in the vein of Breath of the Wild, but not really. Like it feels distinct enough in itself.
But
But
actions and move sets
but
and
the actions and the move sets, and then some of your gameplay elements, like you go into, I can't remember I think they're called rifts. You go into rifts which were literally looking like a broken Zelda shrine, and you jumped into it, and then you had one of those like shrine gameplay moments where you're like using your different abilities to traverse like a narrow pathway to get to something to let you out again. So it's just like a shrine from Breath of the Wild. The other thing that was very, very similar was when you first open the map, or when you first like see the open world map. In the center was a giant like dark mountain with reddish purple clouds that you couldn't go into, where Typhon, who is not Ganon, was sitting there
oh my god,
waiting
like,
for you. Like visually, it was the same
oh.
thing. And I think they called it Typhon's Rage, and I can't remember what they call it in Breath of the Wild. But if you told me it's Ganondorf's Rage, I'd be like, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. This game is so similar.
Danny
Oh my
is
gosh.
telling me that Craftopia is a game in early access right now that is literally a co-op Zelda clone.
Yeah, I've seen that one on Steam. I was actually kind of interested in seeing that.
Interesting. Interesting.
There's a lot of Breath of the Wild clones like going on right now, but like Phoenix Rising is 100%.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. And I kind of want to play it just so I can be one of those persons like, yeah, I did this in Breath of the Wild. But also, I did like some of the aspects of the game
Hmm.
on its own, like on a whole on its own. So, and I'm curious about the story. I mean, I like Greek mythology and Greek gods, and I kind of want to see what their take on this is going to be. Um, it would be interesting to play a game where I don't have to kill every god that I meet. Kratos. Just put it out there. Maybe they
Yeah.
just want to talk. Maybe they just want to talk.
Have a little chat.
That Baldur fight, though, mint.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, worth it.
Oh, anyway. I mean, at least they chose.
But yes, I don't think I actually mentioned or gave it credit. I absolutely believe that it probably will have a very interesting story. It will have a very interesting, history to the game and the plot elements. I've got no doubt that those will probably be done, well, from what I can see. That'll be the only thing that differentiates it from Zelda. Or I don't know. Maybe I should take that back since I haven't played it yet, that it might not. We don't know how close it'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're not going to do everything exactly.
Oh, we'll see.
I mean,
We'll see what those boss battles look like.
They had
If I
that
have to-
semicircle instead of the round
with your wings.
stamina bar with your
Oh, my
wings.
Wings and
It
Daedalus.
functions exactly the same way.
Look,
Yeah.
we'll know if you have to get on like a gigantic mechanical, like salamander or whatever kind of lizard that was. Then we'll know that this is a 100% clone instead of like a 85% clone.
Yeah. If there are like old laser turrets out in the world that are gonna blow you to bits if you like run up to them too early.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, flashbacks. It's too soon.
Well, at least they chose someone within the Greek pantheon that actually had the name Typhon. Because
Yeah.
if they couldn't find anything, I imagine they would have just said, "It's Ganondorf." And
Ganondorf. Gonna get doofed.
also, I heard an interesting rumor about why they changed their name, and I want your opinion of it.
Hit it.
In the Ubisoft Forward, they said that they chose a name that sounded more like the feel of the game. That was the way that they had intended it anyway. It fit the way that they wanted everything to name. Yada yada, this and that. But it came out that the reason why they changed the name was because of an ongoing trademark dispute with Monster Energy.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
That's interesting.
That-
I never would have guessed that.
That Monster Energy disputed their name because it had Monster in it.
Oh,
No.
that's a cash grab dispute right there.
I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes I'm not a lawyer. I didn't go to school to be a lawyer, but sometimes you've got to challenge names like that, or people are not going to take you seriously for brand recognition.
I guess. I don't know.
I guess, but I think that
Feels very reachy.
that feels like that should be thrown out of court.
You think so?
Yes, because they're not saying monster. They're saying gods and monster.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It's just something that I heard and decided to pass along.
Yeah, no. Look, that agitation in my voice had nothing to do with you and everything to do with Monster energy drinks. And the one time I drank their energy drink and said, "My God, this stuff is terrible. It's making me into a terrible human being." I was snapping at people left and right.
I am so glad I have found someone else who believes the exact same thing about
Well,
that stuff.
Oh no.
I've
it's terrible.
never drunk an energy drink. Not once.
Carbonated piss. Don't worry about it.
Don't do it.
All right, man.
Don't do it. But yeah, no, that would be weird. I would think that Ubisoft would have. Maybe they just wanted to avoid the legal fight, but I'm sure that they have the lawyers and the money to disprove that claim. And to me, it's what's the word? Specious. It's a very specious claim, and I doubt that Monster would have actually won that. But
Just had to
tying
flex
up.
on him.
Yeah, I just had to flex. Ugh.
Yeah,
Lame.
it's kind of disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we?
I'm sorry. I'm
Huh?
laughing at myself because I'm like, well, what would you say if Monster approached you? to such and such on your podcast, and I'd be like, I'd have to tell them that was kind of lame.
Yeah.
I'd have to do it.
What if Monster sponsored the podcast?
I'd say
I
take it
don't.
back.
I wouldn't want to. Like, again, I drank Monster. I went to class, and I was a total bitch.
Your product makes me hateful.
It really didn't. I said to some kid, "No, you're wrong," and,
Wow.
and I'm not that person.
Dang, dude, that's intense.
Fast Empires, your product brings out the worst in humanity,
It
and
certainly
I,
didn't
one,
me.
will not stand for it.
It didn't me.
Do y'all want to
All
move
right.
on to Watch Dogs here?
Yeah, let's hit Watch Dogs.
Okay. So the one thing that I was interested in Watch Dogs was that they showed that Aiden Pierce would be in the game, which was the protagonist for Watch Dogs 1. He seems like he's just going to be a playable character that you can find out in the world. And
I like that they did that throwback.
yeah, it's
It's
good.
not going to make me want to play the game anymore, but I really like how they're like, we'll just tie in our first game to this one. Give
Yeah.
it some cohesion.
I mean, Aiden Pierce is a complete turd of a character. Like, he wasn't great.
Nah, that's totally beside the point. It's just the fact that they did it.
Yeah. Cohesion.
Now, well, here's the thing, though. Didn't they say he was Aiden Pierce's character was going to be
They're going to give him
in
a little bit
the
of a
DLC?
storyline.
They're going to give him a story, but it's going to be in DLC.
Oh, okay.
Still.
Yeah. Kudos.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not knocking it.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about the new information that they gave us about character, not creation, but picking your roster of characters, like setting up your team?
It looks exactly the same. Like nothing new was shown.
Yeah, I really was not blown away with what they showed. I was not interested when I found out about what they were doing with like how they were working characters and how they were all essentially disposable paper cups that you could fill your gamer piss into and then move on with your life after one died. You could just pull out another solo cup and just do it again.
Harsh, brah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how I
That's
think.
life.
But yeah, I mean, what they showed us was essentially, functionally, the exact same thing that they've shown us every time they've shown us Watch Dogs Legion, and I'm still not impressed.
I will not disagree with you.
As someone who's played both Watch Dogs 1 and Watch Dogs 2, I've played both. Second one was better. Not enough iteration for me to continue the franchise.
Mm.
But what do y'all think?
I thought that it was. I thought that it was a better presentation of what they want us to, what they would like for us to feel in this game, which is you don't have your single main character, you're putting together a crew, almost like a heist. Like, I would put it, comparison to like a heist film.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find the right person to do the job. And I think that they did that better with this than they had with their initial trailers, which really heavily focused on the grandma, who I think is really cool. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I want a former. Gosh, what kind of granny was she?
Wasn't she like previous MI6 or something like that?
Yeah, previous MI6, or like one of the, like, maybe she's analogous to one of the code crackers who, the Bletchley Circle. Bletchley? Bletchley?
I think it was Bletchley.
Yeah, Circle Ladies. And so, like, I thought that was cool, but to me, this one didn't give me, prior to that, they didn't give a really good range of what you will actually find, and how you will actually determine who you want on your team. And I think they did that much better here. It felt more cohesive and
explanatory.
explanatory in what it's going to do in the game. I think it might be too late. Um, uh, well, I can't use Scorch as an example, but like if you're somebody who was, kind of like on the fence, but just decided I like the single player gameplay experience where I am in the shoes of one character and I can attach my identity to the single character. I don't want to be a ringleader or a mastermind. I want to be that character. I think you're going to lose out. You're going to lose those people, even though there's still a way to play the game that way. But if you love something, then the game is going to take it away from you, and that's kind of like what a lot of people want to avoid. But if you are someone who likes the idea of being that ringleader to put that master team together, then I think the game is going to be great for you.
All right. I can see that, I suppose. Arcadius, you got 2 cents on it?
Nope. That sounds just about right what I'm thinking.
All right. So let me ask you this question. After everything that you've seen about this game, are either of you going to be purchasing it?
No.
No. Out of all of the Ubisoft products, the ones that I gravitated to the most were The Division and the most recent 2 Assassin's Creed games were better to me than that really weird middle area with Brotherhood and was it Unity?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that kind of just was kind of ho hummed after you stopped playing as Ezio. Although I heard that Black Flag was really good.
Yeah, everybody loves that one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any interest in Valhalla, which they did not show this Ubisoft Forward?
So I am still interested in trying Valhalla because I feel like it'll be. I think I could be wrong here, but it feels like it is doubling down on some of the RPG elements of the game, of the Assassin's Creed game, and I like that. However, I also am just sitting here why is this called Assassin's Creed? Where is the assassinating?
Really. There's no subterfuge or anything.
Yeah, nothing. You're a Viking. The Viking in our contextual media, there is Vikings aren't ninja.
Yeah.
They're not assassins. So I don't know. It just feels really weird to me, but I'm interested in seeing it. I'm probably going to end up playing it. I don't know if I'm going to get it at launch. There are way more games that I'm more interested in that are coming out in the near future.
Danny says, I think I'm the only one that hated Black Flag. You're not the only one. I did not like it either.
I never played it, so I don't know.
I got off the first island and looked at all of the crap I had to do and then went, nope, and uninstalled the game.
Seriously? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize it only took that.
It was rough. It was pretty rough. All of the little nitpicky bullshit things that you could do in the game, it was fucking everywhere. It was litter. And they tried to make you do it. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I uninstalled the game.
I think the reason that Watch Dogs does not appeal to me is that there is a unifying element of, overthrow the government, but there is no discrete reason to overthrow the government. Then we're not happy. Life doesn't feel great. Aren't you unsatisfied? Yeah, help us fight the government. It's this loosey-goosey narrative that, to me, it's just well, anyone can be disgruntled. You can find anyone who wants to overthrow the government, and they're just going to try and basically act it out. And to me, there's not enough there to make me want to figure out why.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's not going to be enough meaningful story to any one of these characters. It's yeah, we're totally going to use all these people to overthrow the entirety of the government of this country. It just seems kind of silly.
I can see that. I can see that.
Well, speaking of another, well, not so long-running series, but a staple of Ubisoft's past and connected to Assassin's Creed. This is a terrible segue, but Prince of Persia: The Sands of
Oh
Time remake.
yeah! I don't care.
I was a little excited about it, if only because I really enjoyed the first two Prince of Persia games. Um, Maybe even the first three. I don't remember the one where you played with the maybe princess and she was like your companion and she would catch your hand when you were about to fall. I remember playing that one and enjoying that one too, but I don't remember if that's 1, 2, or like 4 or
Like
whatever.
Prince of Persia Ice Climber style.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. Um, the only other thing I remember about that game is that they didn't say fertile ground. They were always saying fertile. We need to get to the fertile ground. I was like, what? Can you just say fertile? You're like, fertile.
No, this is Persia.
Aluminium.
That word hasn't been made yet.
The aluminium. Fertile.
God.
Yeah, but no. But I think I would be more excited if this were a ground up remake of the game, kind of like what they did with Final Fantasy VII remake. I know that they're putting a lot of resources into this. Like they're doing motion capture. They found the original voice actor. Like they're doing a lot of things. But when I looked at it, it didn't feel like a 2020 game.
Or it didn't look like the effort that they put into it was visible.
Yeah,
Or
and that could have been
immediately visible.
and that could be early build stuff, and da 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 da.
Yeah.
But the things that I enjoy the most about the Prince of Persia game were like the platforming elements. The combat wasn't always that great, but it was pretty good for the time. But if they're not updating that for today, then it'll probably be a fairly frustrating experience. Like I think about,
Yeah.
again, not to compare, but just thinking about Final Fantasy VII Remake, it wasn't perfect, but they did a lot of things right, like so many things right, in terms of like updating the combat. They gave you the ability to do turn-based combat, but they also put in like a more active gameplay style in there, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So they did some things to make it more than just a remaster and to justify the price.
Did either of you think that what was shown for the new Sands of Time looked better than the original, but still immediately outdated?
Yes.
Yes,
I
that's
thought
what
it.
I meant.
I thought it looked old.
Yeah, I'm
And
there with you.
yeah, I agree.
I don't really have a whole lot to say about that. Like, I never played Prince of Persia, so like they're not tugging on my nostalgia strings at all.
But you have, because you've played Assassin's Creed.
That's kind of true. That's kind of true. I did like the original Assassin's Creed a whole lot. I think that might be my favorite. Really crappy mechanics and all.
Mm-hmm. So next on the list, if you want to move forward,
Sure.
um, just to hit the new IP, and then we'll like knock down the little things real quick. But they released a new IP, which is Riders Republic.
Yeah. I think I'm interested in it, but I can't imagine that Arcadius would be.
Nope. I dislike sports games of any kind. It's
Well,
just
I'm interested in
yeah.
it.
Yeah, me too. The crew
I'll
was a lot of
watch.
fun. Steep was a lot of fun, if kind of annoying. Um, Riders Republic might be just as fun. Just as listen, I was so calm while I was playing the crew. It was just a
Yeah.
calming game to drive around in your like freaking supercar, my Lamborghini Vulcan, as I was like destroying all my tires, burning out from my base in Miami, and driving all the way to Los Angeles in it on one tank of gas. I loved it.
It's a
But
good game.
it
It's
really
fun.
was. It really was. But I am gonna have to wait on this one and see if it's worth picking up. Um, and if it is, I'll probably just get it on sale.
Yeah. Well, this one tugs at my my 90s kid. I had a skateboard and I always wanted to, I used to watch the X Games kind of like background. And I really like the idea of, if it's executed well, the idea of a massive team of, or maybe not a team, a massive roster of people from around the globe, like going downhill together with the various like extreme sports equipment. Like, it's just a really cool visual that I could be on my snowboard and someone else could be on, what are those things called? Like
Like
the
a
little
BMX
jetpacks.
bike or a
Yeah, or BMX bike.
wingsuit.
Yeah, wingsuit, and we could like all be racing together. I just think that's kind of cool. Is it going like is the gameplay going to support the idea of that? I don't know.
Yeah.
But on the end, the other positive thing is that it has all of that Ubisoft style and flair that I like the bright colors and the weird costumes and
They got
the
colors all
good
right,
music
and
and
enough to
stuff.
make your eyes bleed.
You know?
There's
It's
enough
like,
neon in that game to be like, God, you're gonna feel like you fell into a pile of glitter.
Yeah.
if you wondered what happened to all of the cult members who actually got away from Far Cry,
Yeah.
whatever game that is, they became members of the Rider Republic.
I was gonna say the color palette for Far Cry is the exact same as Riders Republic.
Seriously, like neon covered?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Wasn't it Far Cry New Dawn or something like that?
The one that was strictly like 80s synth wave
Oh, Blood
was
Dragon?
Blood Dragon, and it
Yeah,
was just those colors.
God. Makes my
yeah.
eyes hurt.
I'm not mad at it. And the other thing is, I've mentioned it several times. I've been wanting to play another SSX game. The way that people feel about Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 being remastered and put out there, I'm excited about. But the games that I really liked playing from that genre were the SSX games. And
I
this
played
is the
cool.
closest thing.
I played Cool Borders. I was a Cool Borders fan. I know that's a
Cool
fucking deep cut.
I remember that.
Yeah, man.
I remember that. So that's Riders Republic. We'll see. And just to knock down the other announcement that came with Ubisoft Forward, they showed off Hyperscape again. Thoughts, opinions?
Meh.
Eh.
Uh,
I really don't like battle royales.
Yeah.
They Fortnite capitalized on it and caught it when people really enjoyed it, and some people still do enjoy it. I just, for the life of me, and not just because like, oh, you're no good at it, so of course you hate it. Well, no, you could sit there and become good at it, but I like the cooperative type of play. I don't like a I'm versus the world style of play. That I don't get enjoyment out of that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Same.
And I will say that I have played a little bit of Hyperscape, and I will say that out of all of them, barring Spellbreakers, I think I enjoyed Hyperscape the most in terms of engagement, world, time to kill, and then Apex Legends has, I think, better characters and gunplay.
What about
But
map traversal with Apex Legends?
well, so that's where I was going to go to. But
Oh.
once you play Titanfall and
Ugh.
Titanfall 2's multiplayer, like
Yeah.
anything that you do in Apex Legends feels like you're swimming in quicksand, and to me, that was the most disappointing thing. Like, I was actually going in there to give Apex Legends a chance because I want them to make another Titanfall 2. And if this game is successful enough that they can spin some people out and make me Titanfall 3 or Titanfall
Oh, I'd be
2076,
all over that.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I will give you $10, okay? Just give me the game that I want to play. But then I got in there and they had some of the movement abilities are parceled out to other like specific characters, and I was like, no, this doesn't feel as good to play as
They
as
took it
Titanfall.
and they broke it up and threw it on the floor and said, "We're
Hmm.
gonna try something new." And it's like,
And then
no,
they stomped on my heart.
don't go stomping my heart.
Okay, next on the list, real quick, we're just knocking these down because we have some more topics. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game.
And that sums it up.
Okay. Uh, Rainbow Six Siege Operation Shadow Legacy.
No.
Sam Fisher,
Call me
cool.
Zero.
How come there's no Splinter Cell? I don't
Dude.
care about Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, are they introducing him into Rainbow Six to test the market for a new Sam Fisher game?
I don't know.
That's
For
a terrible
new
way to
Splinter
test
Cell?
it.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I've never played I've never fully finished a Splinter Cell, but if you want to reintroduce Splinter Cell, to me that seems like a really bad way to do it.
Oh, Splinter Cell is great. I love Splinter Cell.
Yeah, I always like those games. And I actually like the trailer that they put together for it.
Yeah.
It made me interested in Sam Fisher in that game, but definitely
Not in the
enough to
game
play it.
itself. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
yes, Sam Fisher, I like this thing. Just get rid of the rest of that stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they made an animated series or something like that about the Rainbow Six operatives or Sam Fisher, I'd be
I'd
all
watch
over
it.
it. That was
Yeah.
awesome. But playing it, no. No way.
Yeah. If they want to follow the money, make a series. Then you might have some money.
And then there's two more things on the list. Roller Champions.
Oh, this thing, what was it? Was it Rocket League on skates is what we called it?
I think
Yes.
so.
I mean, I never played Rocket League, but I probably won't play this any more than I would want to play Rocket League, which is 0.
I mean, all right, you played Fall Guys Fall Ball, right? Like with all the soccer balls in
Oh yeah,
the
it
giant
was
stadium.
kind of
There,
awful.
you played Rocket League. There you go.
Yep. Okay. That's awful. What a way to waste time.
Yeah. That's about yeah, I don't have anything to say about that.
All right. And then the last on the list, this wasn't actually in Ubisoft Forward, the presentation. It was actually in the pre-roll. But I thought we'd bring it up just because while I'm not playing this game anymore, I'm still really interested in seeing how it's doing because I enjoyed parts of it. And that is For Honor Year 4. Can you believe
Wow.
it? Season
dude.
3, The Resistance is coming, so it's another like content update for the game, and it's dropping on September 17th.
I literally cannot believe it.
Props for
also-
them sticking by their IP.
Yeah. That's the one thing about Ubisoft, and we've praised them about this before.
Yeah, we
Follow
have.
through.
But they also mentioned that over the 4 years they have amassed over or just at 25 million players or unique IDs for this game.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Commendable.
I mean, we were 3 of them, and for like 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Well, I still enjoyed the story.
And listen, the
I
campaign
like the
was
playthrough.
great.
The campaign was so much fun.
It
Loved
was.
it.
That was a lot of fun. But then they left in the parts that you could spam cheaply. They knew about it, didn't do anything about it, and then expected everyone to carry on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that may
that's
be
what broke
fixed
it.
now,
I
but
don't know.
they didn't take like
At that
They
point in
took too
time, it
long.
was fresh, and they took no initiative at it, which kind of just told me they were just like, they were content with it because they had no initiative or saying they were going to take initiative to try and fix it. So I was like, well, if they don't care, I don't care. And I
Mhm.
moved on.
So, just roundtable thoughts while we wrap up Ubisoft Forward. What did we think about this event compared to the first one? And where will Ubisoft take us next?
I think the last one was a little more meaty, and this one was meant to just clarify random stuff or give just another view because there might not have been enough views of what they showed before, or they wanted to put it all in one viewing and they thought it might be too long.
Yeah.
I think that they showed everything that they wanted to in the first one, but they're trying to set up some kind of schedule, so they had to drum up some kind of thing to show for this
Hmm.
one, and it didn't tell me anything didn't already know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they just blew out a lot of air aside from the Phoenix Rising stuff. That might have been the reason why they put together an entire Ubisoft Forward anyway.
I mean, it was
Yeah,
kind of
because it's
almost
coming
like
soon.
30% of that thing felt like Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do see what you mean though, because that game is supposed to be coming in December, and it has not had any real like
Publicity.
marketing push for it.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, that's true. And we didn't see any Assassin's Creed Valhalla in this. Does that
None.
bother either of y'all in
A little
the
bit,
grand scheme of
but
things?
again, I think that goes to Vast's point. They didn't care about showing Valhalla because they showed the opening trailer to that, and the expectation is a little more there. If this is new IP, they need more face time to explain what it is and show people what it
I
is.
mean, I guess that's true. But there's a
and
problem with Assassin's Creed Valhalla right quick.
okay,
And then I wanna put this out there. I'm not gonna be buying Valhalla anymore
Really? How come?
because it's coming out on November 10th. And on November 17th, Cyberpunk 2077 releases.
Ooh. Yeah, bad timing on that one.
I'm not I'm not paying
I
$60 for Valhalla when I know Cyberpunk is a week later.
I can see that might be a black eye
Yeah.
for that game. That is a real thing. And
yeah.
if they're gonna scoff that off, I think they're gonna get bit in the rear hard on that one.
Yeah.
Well, no, but hold on just a second. Wasn't Cyberpunk supposed to come out in September?
Cyberpunk was supposed to come out in September and they pushed it
So
back, but I don't
they pushed
know
it.
I don't know the release like when they announced the release date for Assassin's Creed or if it was always going to be November 10th because that's the same day the Xbox releases.
See, I think that I mean this. Of course, we're in the speculation zone, but I think that the there's like the partnership with Xbox for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like
Hmm.
and so that was in the cards for them to be launched with Xbox. Whenever Xbox launched, that game was going to be like day one game to play. You don't have to wait to play it on PlayStation. You can play it on the Xbox now. You know, through Xbox Games Pass or purchase it on your own with the new
Hmm.
console, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that has more to do with that than and Cyberpunk because at that point everyone would have had Cyberpunk for a month at least, or
That's
maybe
true.
Probably.
2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, so I'll take that back. It was a unfortunate coincidence.
Hmm.
So
Is
Danny
going to.
says many games were delayed to November so they wouldn't compete with Cyberpunk, and then Cyberpunk was delayed to November.
And then effed everything up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cyberpunk inadvertently screwed everything up.
Yep.
All right. Well, speaking of showcases, we mentioned this earlier when we were talking about the Xbox pricing, but this week, after Xbox announced its pricing for their next generation consoles, PlayStation said, hey, join us on September 16th
For a
Yeah.
because we
special
have,
announcement.
for a special announcement, we have a PlayStation 5
And we're all
Yeah.
showcase.
sitting there going, "You don't say."
Really? And who would have saw this coming? So,
Yeah.
speculation zone, guys. What do you think we're going to see? Will PlayStation not reveal the price?
I think they have to. They've been called out
Yeah.
essentially.
And every bit of promotional material that they showed for their like showcase on Wednesday. First of all, they called it a showcase. They called it a PS5 showcase. And then they just show promotional material that is the console. So
Mm.
I can't imagine that it's going to be like they're gonna pull a complete like about
It'd be
face
the
and
weirdest
show,
type in history if they don't
yeah,
show the price.
look, we've got more Godfall for you. You're like, that's
Yeah,
not. I don't think that's
yeah.
gonna happen. You know?
Everyone's gonna be like, Stop, stop. Tell
The
me the price."
Yeah.
the reason why I asked is because they've just been so freaking coy about this,
But that
and like,
PlayStation's
oh,
always been like that.
They were
but we
waiting.
knew the price by
They
now.
were waiting for Xbox to do it. They had it in
Hype
bated
up
breath.
the
That's
anxiety.
what they were doing. They were waiting.
Yep. Well, I'm really curious on what they're going to show us, what pricing they're actually going to have finalized for us. They better have their servers ready, because if I can't pre-order the minute this thing is over, I'm going to be pissed.
I honestly think they're going to lease like several server farms just for opening day.
Oh
They
yeah.
have to. They have to. And it's going to be hilarious because I think
Okay.
there's still going to be
Oh my
problems.
gosh, you guys, what if they're gonna pull an E3 and they're like, and this is the price, and there's one more thing that we gotta tell you, you can pre-order it now, and then they cut off the stream.
Oh! Well, let's just say a lot of money is about to be spent in those couple of hours.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hope to God
I
my credit card is back before that happens. Oh,
well,
dear Lord.
my Amazon gift card, a gift from my father before from Christmas before last. I have been waiting to use it
Oh, my
on this
goodness.
one thing. This one thing,
Oh.
It's
which is
coming.
also one of the reasons why I'm always like, ugh, money, whatever. I have a gift card.
All you people saving, I just use my gift card.
She's my gift card.
Well, do you think that's something that they would do? Like, do you see that
Dude,
happening?
honestly, I think if they did that, that would be their one up on Xbox.
It might
Like, oh yeah,
be.
here's the price, and you can buy it now. And then they turn around and shield their faces because of all the shrapnel that's in smoke that's going to be flying out of those servers of people pre-ordering like the world is ending tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. If you, that would almost be hilarious if it's like, well, our prices are the same, if not higher, but you can get it now. And then they
Hmm.
turn around and shield their faces from the back.
Yeah.
From just the wave of people that comes gusting through to throw their monies into the coffers.
But like right before they go live, the guy that's on the stage like checks his phone and he's called up John Sony and he's like,
John Sony.
"Have we leased every single server farm in Asia? We
Yeah,
have?
are we
Okay."
good? Are we clear? All right, we're good to go. We're green. He's gonna hear on the phone. All right, we're green. And
Yeah.
he's gonna look at the audience and with a big smile on his face and be like, "Showtime."
Exactly.
That is what's going to happen.
Oh
Showtime.
man.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to seeing it. I really just want them to confirm this price. I know that 2020 is really weird and not at all what anyone has expected, but this game of chicken has gone far enough. Let me
Yeah,
know what
Yeah.
it costs.
it
COVID
really
or
has.
not be darned. Give us what we want.
Yeah. So
Uh,
I have one thing that is not on the list that I'd like to quickly talk about right quick. It's not going to
Hit
take
it.
all that long time. PAX is going on right now. They've got a digital thing. They've got digital PAX going. And Gearbox was there with Borderlands 3. And they announced a series of things that are going to be pushed forward for Borderlands 3 in the future. They said that there's going to be more DLC past what's already planned.
Hey.
There's going to be a new class for every single character.
Hey.
They're introducing 3 and 4 player split screen co-op for couch co-op.
Wow, they
Okay,
actually beat
families.
Halo to it.
Yeah, and they're saying that anyone who purchased a current gen Borderlands 3 will be able to upgrade to the next gen for free.
Hey!
Yes.
Okay, now they're going to bring Maya back.
This is how you win the hearts of your audience, is give
Yeah.
them what they want and more than what they want.
That's they did it good right there. They did it good.
In spades.
But here's the thing, though, and not to downplay this, because I'm super excited to hear that, and to the point where I'll probably go on and delete something from my freaking hard drive so I can put Borderlands back on and play the latest DLC.
But on the
But
PS5, it'll be fresh, and you'll have so much space for activities.
oh my god,
Activities.
oh my god, I'm so excited. No, but out of as the progenitors of the looter shooter genre, like Borderlands hasn't disappointed.
No.
Oh,
They
no.
have created this model, and they still, after all this time, have done it and continue to do it better than every single person
Did we
out
actually
there.
do a Borderlands review? Was that even a thing that we did? Or did we
I
just
don't
play
think
it and we were
so.
so enamored by
We
it? We
just
never actually
played
did
it
a
into the
review.
ground. Danny asked, "Did they fix the menu? Please say yes." I don't know. I don't know that they have or not. They didn't say, or I didn't
Sounds like they
catch
just
anything.
left it the same game and went, oh yeah, by the way, you can play it on PS5. And then ducked away and were laughing at how much more money they're making.
Yeah. It's good. Good work.
Yeah,
Good work, you guys.
I'm excited about that, and I will, as someone who purchased my first entry, as I said before, was Borderlands 2. I purchased that. I purchased the Handsome collection for my PlayStation 4. I purchased 3, and I will download the DLC for the new game. And
Yeah.
if there's a season pass, I'll look and see what they have. But I enjoy, like, I haven't. The last one we played together was it Love Drug? Not Love and Drugs and Tentacles. What was
Love guns and
And
tentacles?
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 Yeah.
Was that the last one we played together?
I think so.
Yes. They have the Western one out, but all of us haven't played that one together yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those first two DLC I really enjoyed, and the little faction stuff that they had in between there, that was fun.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would definitely come back to Borderlands for new DLC.
Cool.
Bring back Maya. She deserves it.
I mean, Maya is in this latest DLC.
Yeah, but
That's
is she a
about
figment of
Krieg. But
she a figment of his imagination though?
yeah, she's in Krieg's mind.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Not like a real person.
Yeah, she done
Unfortunately.
got poofed.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
Her character
It is.
deserved better. I'm just gonna put
Yeah,
it out there.
definitely. But anyway, you were gonna say something before then.
No, that was it. I was going to just segue into some really, really quick conversation about two games that are coming to next gen, Godfall and Outriders, because I don't know about you guys, but there has been a huge dearth of cooperative content, Borderlands notwithstanding, and we as a triumvirate are kind of hungry for it. But we haven't actually been talking about Godfall that often, or I don't think we've talked about Outriders in a long time, and they're putting out stuff to remind us that, hey, we're here and we're coming soon.
Mhm.
So I
I'm
wanted
afraid-
to
Oh, go
I
ahead.
want to ask you guys about that.
I'm afraid to hype up Godfall any more than it is.
Yeah.
I don't
Is
want
it?
disappointment. I'm just gonna
Is it
I'm just
hype
gonna wait.
though?
Not yet. So that's why I want to stick to what I've seen. I pleasantly enjoy what I have seen. I have decided I will allot monetary funds for this game currently, as it stands, without any further hype or ado, and we will see what happens.
Yeah. And as far as Outriders go, they've been pretty quiet as far as my radar has gone.
But that's the thing, they haven't been.
Yeah, but like on my radar, it's been
Okay.
quiet. Like I haven't necessarily seen anything from them. It just hasn't passed my nose. I know it's there.
Gotcha. Well, the reason why I bring it up is because in my daily attempts to find things to listen to while I'm at work, I listen to a lot of gaming podcasts on YouTube as well as regular podcasts through Spotify. Not a shout out, just that's where I listen to my podcasts. And the Outriders had like a dev stream towards the end of August, beginning of September, and I was like, oh shoot, they've been putting these out regularly, and I haven't seen one since the first. So that's kind of one, like why hasn't YouTube showed this to me? Because I know I watched the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Like what in the algorithms is going on that it's not showing me? It's not being brought up because I have subscribed to it. You know what I mean? And then I found myself really interested in the classes that they have in the game and how pleasantly surprised I was by how pleasantly surprised I am by how they're differentiating those classes within the game. And then from some of the early complaints that I saw from some people who are like, "Oh, this is just Destiny," when they saw like the character and some of the move sets.
Godfall?
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about
Outriders.
Outriders.
Oh, Outriders. Oh, yeah. I would believe that to be a Destiny skin over from what little I've seen. I can see where they'd say that.
Well, it's from some ex-Bungie devs and stuff, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. People
Yeah.
can fly.
Yeah.
But once I got a chance to look, I think I looked at all three of the classes, or excuse me, I looked at 3 out of the 4 classes. I haven't seen the Pyromancer one, but I saw the Trickster. I saw the new class that they released, which is called the Techromancer, and then I saw the Devastator, and I got excited again about the game. Didn't remembered it, and now it's like it might be nudging Godfall
Really?
for my most anticipated co-op game right now.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
And
going to
that's
sit squarely on Godfall because it's more different than some of the other cooperative games that have come out and we've played.
And this is purely on what I've seen for the classes and the playstyles and what they're bringing to the table. I was just so shocked about the Devastator. I thought it was like, because I felt the same way. I was like, oh, this is going to be Mini Titan from Destiny, because he has a move where he jumps forward, like he leaps forward and slams his fist on the ground, like. But when I got into the movesets and saw some of the things that he could do, I was like, oh, wow, I'm actually interested in playing this character. And I thought I was just going to be all about that Trickster character. And then I found out that the Technomancer skill tree is their like long distance paladin almost, because you do heavy damage and you heal your team.
Okay.
Like, and so they're spreading some of that stuff. They're spreading some of those traditional like classes apart. They're breaking them apart and they're putting them together in different ways. And so far, I really think I like what I see. So I'm excited about it. Not on the hype train.
Yeah, careful. You get
I'm not
burned.
on the hype train. But I am cautiously excited, and that's the one like right now, just right now, out of the two, and I'm fully aware that I'm going to get both. But out of the two, I think I'm more excited about Outriders right now, and I did not think that was going to be the case.
What a development.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there.
Do we want to? That sounds nice, actually. But do we want to talk about the Godfall armor that they showed?
Yeah, we could do that real quick.
Okay.
I gotta say, it's got pizzazz.
Pizzazz. And it's got tentacles.
I did see that one. I thought that would be the first one you would notice. It's like, oh man, Scorch is gonna see the tentacle one.
Oh yes. And a broad grin stretched across my face.
Slowly but surely, the creak within the sides of your face. Like the hinging of a squeaky door.
Oh crap! No.
Yeah, it looked. I thought it looked pretty cool. The design, like the design aesthetic that they have for the suits overall, outside of the one that just looks straight moth, I've been impressed with. Like, I like how it looks.
It almost
Yeah?
reminds me a little bit of some of the more outlandish designs from Diablo. Only they're much smoother, much higher resolution, and much more suave.
Yeah. I'm still hesitant about that game though. I am.
Really?
I feel like it's just a release window game, and they're putting release window money behind it, which is not that much. They
Well,
just got to have something to put on the consoles that people will play. I'm worried that that's as far as that game is going to go.
it is a possibility.
I've
It's a
seen it time and
possibility,
time again.
but what if it wasn't?
Fast, fast,
What?
hype
What
train.
if?
You
Careful
need.
now.
No, I'm not on the hype train. I'm just saying, what if they do exactly what it's designed to do, but very well? What if it delivers a really good three-player cooperative campaign,
It
single
would
player and
be.
cooperative campaign?
It would be cool.
It sounds like they'd be very much rejoicing.
Yeah, it would. But Vast, your ticket can only be stamped once
I'm
Admittance
not on
one
this.
for the for
on
that
the
for
I'm
that
hype
not
hype
on
train.
this
train.
hype train.
Are
I'm
you
not
No
on this
sure?
hype
refunds
train.
available.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, I'm just looking forward to playing something else with you guys
Yeah,
on
Yes,
a console.
it's been pretty drought-like recently.
because I'm not in the
Hmm.
PC world yet. I've stepped into it, but ain't there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, my toes in it. It is what it is. I'm lying down right now, and I feel great.
Oh man. Oh man. The future of gaming is an interesting one.
Hmm.
Looking pretty good.
Yeah. Is there anything else that
Okay.
we have to say? Are there any boxes that we have unticked yet?
Nope, all the boxes are ticked. I think the only other thing is that we will probably. It is a strange year for DerNami. We are podcasting more than we have since the beginning,
A
and we will
rarity.
probably come back with some more hot takes and gaming news or a reaction stream post Wednesday with
Yeah,
PlayStation's showcase. We'll have some stuff to talk about there. I know.
definitely. Absolutely. It might just be like 45 minutes to an hour of like screeching because they did exactly what we wanted them to.
Oh, they'll
Or
be screeching.
yeah, I hope. But
That would be awesome.
until then, I think we're over. Do we have any last things?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, this has been a podcast for DerNami Gaming. From DerNami Gaming, we did this. And if you liked it, subscribe. We do podcasts every once in a while and various other things, streams and stuff. I'm trying to push them in the right direction for PC stuff, but it everything has its own timeline. So be patient.
Yes.
If you don't like what you are listening to, why are you here? Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Go. That's all from us. We will see y'all later this week. Bye.